today we're taking a look at skulls. Now science and art are combined, so we want you to think of that. Here's the deal, in science we're interested in the way stuff looks and why it looks that way. And in art, when you draw, that's also the point, is why does stuff look, how does it look, and think about it. So for example, if we look at a skull like this, there's a big cow skull, and I might look at the teeth underneath here. In science class, I might say, hey, why are those teeth big and flat? Well, of course, you guys all know this is an herbivore. Look how flat those teeth are. Those are for grinding up fruits or grass and plants. So that's an herbivore. I can tell by the teeth. Now, if you're in art class, then when you draw this skeleton, you're not going to put big, sharp, pointy teeth like a vampire because you know you're looking at an herbivore. It should match. As opposed to this one here, if I'm looking at this in science class and I said to you, hey, what is this? Herbivore, omnivore, or carnivore? This, then you obviously would say, this is a carnivore. Look how sharp the teeth are. And note, they go sharp all the way back. So again, in art class, if you're drawing, the key to drawing good sketches in art is look for details. What is the shape of the teeth? Where are the long teeth? Where are the pointy teeth? Are they a little flatter in the back? How many teeth? Are there spaces in between? That would be the stuff that biologists look at. It's also the same stuff that artists look at. Now try this other one here for an example. Check this out. Now we have sharp teeth in the front, but if you look in the back, now we have kind of flat teeth. So now we have a combination of what we had before. Carnivore in the front, herbivore in the back, and we call that an omnivore. So this, of course, is a raccoon. Raccoons eat pretty much everything, including the garbage out of your backyard. So they have teeth. So again, if you're drawing an art class, pay attention to the teeth. You got the big canines in the front, but in the back you have the flat teeth for chewing and mashing with, just like you had on the cow. Now another thing you could look at when you look at them is, think in terms of evolution. Who's related to what? How similar are things? So for example, let's take a look at these skulls here. Put these two together. And then let's take a look at the eye sockets. Now these eye sockets are similar. This one's a little bigger, but look behind there. This has a bit different shape than that. Curves here, goes down, curves here and goes down. So we're thinking in terms of evolution, these are related, but they're not exactly the same. If we look underneath, it has the teeth of an herbivore. Okay, so we have teeth underneath of here, pretty similar to the teeth under here, but not exactly alike. And you can also now see underneath that the structure of the bone is similar here, but slightly different. Probably related, maybe even closely related in terms of evolution, but different species. Here's your horse cow. So they go back, they must have a common ancestor, and you can expect if you look at the hooves, that would also be similar. Now another thing that's sort of interesting with bones is, are they alive or are they dead? Like, this is obviously dead now, but if it's in the body, is it alive? How about the antlers? Are those antlers alive? Well, think about it for a minute. If this is going to grow, it has to be alive. So the blood runs through into here, and it carries nutrients in and it carries waste out. The same for the antlers. Antlers are an alive bone while it's growing, while it's in velvet. Once the velvet comes off, it no longer has blood vessels, and so therefore this becomes not longer live tissue, and that's why they fall off at some point. On the tops of the skulls, you can see where the cracks are. This would be the same with the human, and all of the different skulls have it, because when this was a baby, in between was all cartilage, sort of a soft rubbery substance. As the adult gets older, that cartilage gets replaced by calcium. The calcium gets harder, and this would then be an adult skull at this point, just like all of these are. These would all be adult skulls. We no longer see cartilage between these. And that's what happens when people get older. As they start to lose bone faster than they can be created, that becomes osteoporosis. And on the tops of all the skulls, you can see the little cracks. Now, this would be the interesting thing in drawing. If I'm drawing the skull, an indication of the age might be how close are these together. Also, think of that in terms of line and design. would be a perfect way to use your line. You know, use your line to show the shapes on the end. Use your shading to show depth when you draw it. So, as you can see, science and art are closely related. They're both about seeing, and they're both about thinking about how well you see. Come again.